Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Limbus Company. We are back, and continuing off after the shocking revelation upon which we found out Catherine is dead. Womp, womp, womp. Right. Linton looked up at Heathcliff. His eyes were bloodshot.
자네 말대로 얼굴 보는 것도 불쾌하기만 했던 우리가 이곳에 왜 다 모여 있다고 생각하는 건가?
As you said earlier, none of us are here to see each other's ugly mugs. What other reason could we possibly had to reconvene like this?
무슨 미친 소리를.
Can't be real. What kind of insane...
자,
Now, who the fuck is this guy? The fixers of the Ophi Association, who have remained silent throughout the entire commotion, suddenly spoke up.
약속한 시간이 다 되었습니다.
The promised hour is come.
고인 개설이님의 혈연인 힌들리 언쇼 씨,
Mr. Hindley Earnshaw, a blood relative of the deceased.
고인 개설인의 남편이었던 린튼 에드가 씨,
Mr. Linton Edgar, the spouse of the deceased.
마지막으로 유언에서 언급되었던 히스클리프 씨.
And Mr. Heathcliff, an individual mentioned by name in the will.
이렇게 모두가 한 자리에 모였으니 집행을 시작할 조건이 충족되었습니다.
Now that the three relevant parties are all present, we, as the executors of the deceased's will, may begin the ceremony.
이제 의뢰자 캐서리님의 유언 집행을 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
The first order of business will be the execution of Miss Catherine's will.
우리는 캐서린님의 엄숙한 장례식에서 고인의 바람대로 캐서린님이 소유한 저택에서 유언장을 낭독 후
Thus commences the solemn occasion of Miss Catherine's funeral rites. As per the deceased's wishes, the will shall be read out aloud here at Miss Catherine's manor, in attendance of all those present. Then,
잠깐만.
no.
너 나불거리지 말고 잠깐 멈춰봐.
You stop. Shut up for a second.
누구의 장례식이라고?
Whose funeral rites?
그리고
And
누구의 남편이라는 거야?
what was that about her spouse? The man they called Linton rose from his seat for the first time since we arrived here.
네가 말도 없이 이곳에서 사라진 뒤
After you abandoned this place with nary a word to her,
캐서린은 곧바로 내게 왔다.
Catherine immediately turned to me.
우리는 부부였어. 매일매일 행복하고 충만한 날들을 보냈지. 그녀가 숨을 거두는 마지막 날까지.
Then we married. Every waking hour we spent together were filled with happiness and joy. We were happy to the very last day, to her very last breath.
개소리하지 마.
Shut your stupid gob.
난 이 저택에 발걸음을 한 순간부터
The moment I set foot in this manor,
캐서린이 날 부르는 소리를 들었어. 그녀가 이 저택에 있다는 거 느낄 수 있었단 말이야. 그런데 무슨 말도 안 되는 소리 하는 거야?
I heard her voice. I felt her presence. So what the bloody hell are you even talking about?
이 개자식들이 작정하고 꾸민 일이 분명해. 그렇지 않고서 이렇게.
This has to be some ploy. These fucking bastards, they must have... This can't... Heathcliff paused for a moment, struggling to find the words.
이렇게 끝날 리가 없어.
This can't be how this ends.
내 눈앞에 그녀의 시체라도 갖다 놔. 그래야 좀 믿어볼 신용이라도 할 테니까.
I won't believe a single shite coming out of your mouths until I see her body with my own eyes. Where is she? Bring her here now.
못 봐주겠군. 장례식에서 고인에 대한 최소한의 예의를 갖추고 애도는 못할 망정.
What a repulsive sight. The least you could have done was to show some proper respect for the dead. But I suppose even the bare minimum was too much to expect from someone like...
히스클리프, 네 기분은 알겠으니까 진정하고 자리에...
I understand how you feel, Heathcliff. So please, calm yourself and take a seat.
놔! 누구 마음대로 죽었다는 거야? 개시를 보기 전까지는.
Get your hands off me. You can't just decide for me that she's dead. I won't accept any of this. Not until I see Kathy with my own...
경고합니다. 지속적인 유언 집행 방해가 이어질 시 무력을 사용해서라도 유언 집행을 진행할 수밖에 없습니다.
Warning, should this interruption to the will reading continue, we may have to resort to use of force to ensure the full execution of this will.
닥쳐! 아무것도 모르는 새끼가 멋대로 짓거리지 말라고!
Shut up. You don't know shite, so shut your fucking mouth. Heathcliff was gasping. The sheer momentousness of the emotion overwhelmed him. It looked as though he were about to lunge at anyone who even dared to get close. I could hardly tell whether it was sorrow or wrath that came over him.
히스클리프, 너야말로 거울을 좀 보지 그래. 꼴이 말이 아니군.
Heathcliff, why don't you go take a look at yourself in the mirror? What a pathetic mess you've become.
역시 태생부터 글러먹은 새끼는 아무리 그럴듯한 옷을 주워 입어도 결국 티가 나긴 마련이거든.
It doesn't matter what posh garb plebs you like. Wait. It doesn't matter what posh garb plebs like you wrap yourselves in. That filth from your low birth seeps right through the fabric at the slightest provocation.
그리고 장례식 절차상 좋든 싫든 곧 캐서린의 시체를 볼 수 있을 테니 너무 재촉하지 말라고. 날 이런 꼴로 만들어 놓고 얼마나 편안하게 눈을 감고 있는지 나도 직접 봐야 하겠으니까.
You'll eventually see Catherine's corpse, all right. It's all part of the funeral process, so don't be in such a hurry to get there. I can't wait to see how well she's resting after what she's done to me.
힌들리님, 히스클리프님, 두 분 다 지금 당장 자리에 앉아주실 것을 명령합니다. 이것은 최종 경고입니다.
Mr. Hindley Earnshaw, Mr. Heathcliff, we order that both of you return immediately to your seats. This is your final warning.
관리자 나리, 우리가 어쩌면 좋겠는가? 웨어피 협회 나리들은 계약 불이행에 관해선 필요에 따라 처형까지 할 수 있는 사람들이란 말이오.
Manager Esquire, we must do ought or none. Fixers of the Ophi Association may even execute those involved should there be a breach of contract.
본인은 히스클리프 군이 처형당하는 것도 싫고 웨어피 협회 나리들이랑 싸우는 것도 싫소.
I ill wish to see Sir Heathcliff be executed, nor do I wish to have to battle the honorable fixers of the Ophi Association. I agree with Don Quixote. There's no need for us to get involved in an unnecessary conflict, but... Look, I don't think Heathcliff's gonna listen. I don't even know if there's anyone who can talk to Heathcliff when he's agitated.
경고는 여기까지입니다.
You have refused to comply. We had no choice but to watch as the fixers of the Ophi Association struck Heathcliff with their weapons. He fell to his knees with a painful cry.
이상.
Y.S.
말씀하시오.
Do speak.
그 이상 아니다.
Not you.
그럼에도 말씀하시오.
Speak still. Your intentions notwithstanding.
이상하군. 너희 그대로 멈춰.
You stop. All of you. Something's off about this whole thing.
이자를 대신에 할 말이 있으십니까?
Would you like to speak for this individual?
라고 말할 뻔했지만 그냥 가만히 있는 게 좋을 거라고 마음을 바꿨습니다. 그렇지?
Was what she was going to say. But she decided to remain silent in favor of not getting in trouble. Right?
어? 뭘 하는 거지, 벌량?
Huh? What are you doing, BG?
류슈, 같은 수감자가 눈앞에서 그렇게 얻어맞은 것에 대해서 충분히 분노할 만하다고 생각해. 하지만
Roshu, I understand that seeing our fellow sinner get smacked around like that can be pretty aggravating, but
당신까지 나서버리면 걷잡을 수 없이 커져버릴 거라고. 일이.
once you get involved, peace will simply no longer be an option. Didn't know you cared so much about Heathcliff, Ryoshu.
말 더 안.
N.C. Ryoshu flicked her cigarette indifferently as though she was no longer interested. No comment.
개자식들이.
You bastards.
한꺼번에 덤비든가.
Fine. Let's crack some skulls then, shall we? Heathcliff stumbled to his feet with his club in hand, glaring at everyone that stood before him.
최초 대응만으로 협조하지 않으시는 겁니까?
I see that you are still refusing to comply despite our initial attempt.
1분 내로 무기를 내려놓지 않을 경우 그 다음 절차를 이행하겠습니다.
Should you refuse to let go of your weapon within the next minute, we will have no choice but to escalate to our next steps.
설차고 나버리고.
Good lord, Heathcliff is literally having like the crash out of the century right now. I couldn't care less about your steps. Give me Catherine or...
여기서 너희도 나랑 같이 뒤지는 거야.
None of us are leaving this manor alive. You lot, me, we're all going 6 feet under. Okay, chill out.
다물어 시계 대가리. 지금 회사가 규칙이고 알 바냐? 빨리 생각하지 마.
Shut it, clockhead. This ain't the time to bring up shite like the company rules. Stay out of my way.
전 아무 말도 못 하겠어요. 눈앞에서 소중한 사람이 죽었다는 걸 알게 되면 아무것도 안 보여요. 들리지도 않고요.
I don't have anything to say. If someone that important to me died, I'd be blinded and deaf and no reason too.
있지, 히스. 지금 엄청 화나고 답답한 건 알겠어. 하지만 이대로 가면 우리는
Hey, Heath. I understand how angry and frustrated you must be, but you can't...
닥쳐! 다 입 다물고 건들지 마. 같이 박살나고 싶은 게 아니라면.
Shut your trap. All of you, don't you dare touch me unless you want your faces caved in too.
히스클리프, 한숨 자고 일어나자.
It's nap time, Heathcliff. Whoa.
방금 맨손으로 히스클리프를 눕힌 거야?
Did she just knock him out cold with her bare hands?
게다가 꿀밤 한 방으로?
And it wasn't even a punch. It was just a light tap.
호흡은 정상적이다. 뒤통수에 위치한 맥에 정확한 충격을 줘서 의식을 잠시 잃게 한 것 같군.
His breathing is stable. It appears as though she gave the nerve on the back of his head a precise focused strike, which led to his loss of consciousness.
전혀 군더더기 없는 동작이었어요. 익숙한 움직임이라고 해야겠죠? 마치 저희 집안에
What a flawless execution of that move. I can certainly say that I've seen something like that before. Reminds me of my family's...
히스클리프군이 한 번에 불쑥 가였네만.
Sir Heathcliff hath been defeated with a single fell strike.
이 정도의 기술은 가지고 있어야 진정한 버틀러라고 할 수 있죠. 아이가 안 잔다고 20시간 동안 고집 부리면 누군가는 재워야 하지 않겠어요?
Every self-respecting butler has to be equipped with one such move. What other choice do we have when we have... no. What other choice have we got when the child fusses and fusses for 20 hours instead of going to sleep?
난 바로 눕자마자 꿈나라로 갈 수 있네. 정말로.
Oh, forsooth, I can say with quite the confidence that I can immediately slumber to the dreamlands upon tucking myself into bed, for truth.
자인은 아니더라도 무기를 놓았고 진정된 것을 확인하였으니
Though it was not by his own volition, we have confirmed that he is no longer in possession of a weapon and has been subdued.
잠시 진정 시간을 10분 정도 가진 뒤 이후 계속 진행하겠습니다.
We will allow for a 10-minute recess to let things calm down for a moment, then we will proceed as planned.
저 넬리님?
Excuse me, Lady Nellie?
넬리님이라니. 편하게 넬리라고 불러주세요.
Lady Nellie? No need for such honorifics. Please, just call me Nellie.
린튼이라는 분이 데려오신 저 고용인 분들은 한때 이 저택에서 일하셨던 분들인 거죠?
The contractors that Mr. Linton Edgar brought, they once worked at this manor, right?
맞아요. 캐서린 아가씨를 따라서 저랑 같이 따라온 언쇼가 버틀러들이 몇몇 있죠. 물론 린톤님이 부리는 버틀러들은 원래 있던 에드가 가문 버틀러들이 대다수긴 하지만요.
Yes, indeed. Some butlers from the Earnshaws, like myself, followed Miss Catherine to Master Linton's. Of course, most of Master Linton's butlers are from his own Edgar family.
그럼 린튼 씨가 명령만 내린다면 넬리님도 저희를...
So, if he gives the order to attack us, Lady Nellie would...
그게 무슨 말도 안 되는.
Oh, pish posh, ridiculous.
저는 캐서린님의 직속 버틀러였어요.
I was a butler in direct service of Miss Catherine.
린튼 도련님이 아무리 제 바지가랑이를 붙잡고 애걸복걸해도 제가 린튼 도련님의 편만 들 수는 없다는 거죠.
Young Master Linton could plead and beg all he wants, but I won't always be taking his side.
저희 근데
So,
버틀러가 정확히 어떤 집단이야?
what exactly are the butlers?
버틀러? 말하자면 말이요. 그들은
Butlers! Forsooth, I am quite well acquainted with this matter. They are...
집 구석에나 처박혀 주인에게 목줄 잡힌 개들.
house dogs on a tight leash, groveling before their masters.
누구보다 믿음직스럽고 충직한 분들이랄까요?
The most trustworthy and loyal people I've ever known, I'd say.
가문의 해결사들이요.
Fixers bound to families.
정말 잘 알아들었어. 다들 훌륭한 정리 고맙다. 어?
Nice, gotcha. Some great help you fellas are. Alright, well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one out of the loop for once.
그래도 버틀러에 대해 곧바로 아시는 분도 있네요. 조금은 생소한 개념이라 버틀러 조직 자체를 모르는 분들도 많거든요.
At least some of you know who we butlers are. It is a rather rare occupation, so not many people even know that we exist.
돈 좀 있는 집에서 났을 테니 보통은 알기 힘들겠지.
Doesn't sound like most normal folk would have a reason to know anything about him.
아니면 돈 좀 있는 집에 고용되어야만 하는 입장이거나.
Unless they're in a position where they have no choice but to work at the rich folks' houses. That's,
우리 중에
fuck it, it's
해결사를
good
좀
enough.
많이 좋아하는 자가 있어서.
Well, one of us is quite a passionate fan of fixers.
그렇군요. 우리 히스클리프가 참 총명한 친구들을 도왔네요.
Quite. Oh, I'm very pleased to know that our dear Heathcliff has made some very intelligent friends.
넬리군,
Lady Nellie.
내 버스로 다시 돌아간다면 꼭 구하려다 포기해버렸었던 버틀러 피규어를 구해 책장 제일 앞에 세워두리다.
I promise thee that once I make my return to the bus, I shall have my hands on the butler figurine I had given up on acquiring. It shall stand tall and proud on my frontmost row of my display shelf. Don Quixote's eyes were practically exploding with joy at having her fixer obsession positively acknowledged and accepted for once.
버틀러들은 말이요, 일반 해결사들과는 조금 다른 해결사들이요.
Allow me to explain. Butlers are fixers indeed, yet they are rather distinct from most fixers thou hast encountered thus far.
보통 해결사라 함은 협회나 사무소에 소속되어 그때마다 다른 의뢰를 받고 있다만 이들은 다르지.
A fixer oft refers to those who accept contracts as part of an association or an office. Alas, there exists a distinction when it comes to butlers.
바로 가문이나 저택에 소속이 되어 일관되고 장기적인 해결사 활동을 한다는 점. 물론 다른 해결사들처럼 한 사람만을 위해 고용되기도 한다오.
Butlers join families or manors to serve them, and only them, on long-term contracts. Forsooth, like any other fixers, butlers may be hired by a single person to serve them and only them as well.
가사와 전투, 돌봄까지 다양한 분야를 도맡는 점도요.
Do note that our service is not limited to combat. We also conduct household management and care as well.
갖가지 소양을 필요로 하는 아주 힘들고 드문 해결사 직종이랍니다.
It must also be mentioned that proficiency in many fields is a necessity to be a respected butler. This is this is no easy occupation, mind you.
그런데 버틀러를 고용하는 건 대단히 어마어마하게 비싸다는 걸로 알고 있네만.
Yet, from what I have learned, to hire butlers to pay an inordinate amount of salary.
맞아요. 고생은 많이 하지만 고용기간 갱신 때마다 어마어마한 보수와 함께 연금과 같은 안정적인 보수까지 보장받으니까요.
Indeed. While butlers are always oh so busy, we are promised expensive compensation at every contract extension, with stable bonuses such as pensions.
명망 높은 해결사분 중엔 협회에서 은퇴를 하고 버틀러로 전향하시는 분들도 종종 있죠.
Many famous association fixers also retire to serve as butlers as well.
저는 캐서린 아가씨 가문의 버틀러였고 린튼 도련님과 결혼하시면서 에드가 가문의 버틀러들과 섞이게 되었지만
I was once a butler in service of Miss Catherine's family, and was transferred to Master Linton Edgar's family to join their ranks when she married him.
아주 평화로운 협의를 통해 제가 버틀러들의 대장격인 치프 버틀러가 되었답니다.
Still, after a rather peaceful mutual debate, we came to the conclusion that I would be assuming the position of the chief butler, leader of the butlers in that household.
그렇구만. 말만 들어도 정말 평화로워 보여.
Gotcha. Totally peaceful. Uh-huh. Sure was really one peaceful transfer of power.
그러고 보니 이 히스클리프 군도 조그마할 때가 있었다니 상상이 가지 않는군. 어렸을 때는 어떤 아이였는가?
Oh, ho, ho. 'Tis quite fascinating to imagine that even Sir Heathcliff once had a tiny Ben. How was he as a youth?
제가 치프 버틀러까지 될 수 있었던 데 큰 이유를 차지하던 금쪽 같은 아이였달까요?
Well, he was quite the special child. I do not believe that I would have become a chief butler had it not been for him.
참 사랑스러운 아이였어요.
Oh, what a lovely boy he was.
사랑스러운. 그렇구려.
Lovely, quite. All right, well, very interesting lore on the butlers. Cool. All right, the ghost. Very nice. Can't wait to see what happens next. Yeah, crash out of the century. Here he comes again. How you doing, buddy?
넬리가 옛날에 말했던 꿈나라로 보내버리는 비장의 방법. 오랜만이네.
It's that classic Nelly technique, eh? The secret technique to send us hurtling into the dreamlands. Been a while.
정말 미안해, 히스클리프. 오랜만에 만난 너에게 꿈밤만큼은 쓰고 싶지 않았는데.
I'm terribly sorry, Heathcliff. I was hoping to avoid having to use a sleepy smack on you, and not after a reunion like this.
정말인 거냐? 넬리?
Oh. Is it true, Nelly?
캐서린이 정말 죽었어?
Is Catherine really gone? Yes.
그리고 캐서린 아가씨의 유언장엔
And Miss Catherine
네 이름이 적혀 있었어, 히스클리프.
wrote your name into her will.
유언 들어봐야 하지 않을까요? 뭐라고 적혀 있었는지 정도는.
Her will, huh? We should at least give it a listen to hear why she mentioned Heathcliff. Heathcliff sat down wordlessly.
그런데 이 저택이 캐서린님의 소유였나요?
So, was this manor Miss Catherine's?
원래는 힌들리 도련님 것이었죠. 그런데
Well, it used to be young Master Hindley's once. Then,
캐서린, 그것이 뒤통수를 쳐버렸어.
Catherine, that shrew, she stabbed me in the back.
린턴, 네 놈이 더 자세한 이야기를 들려주지 그래. 네 놈 부부가 어떻게 작등을 해서 날 구렁텅이로 빠뜨렸는지.
Why don't you elaborate on that injustice, Linton? Share the tale of how Catherine and Linton Edgar stabbed me in the back. How the pair of you destroyed me.
정당한 방식이었네. 법적으로 아무 문제도 없지. 당장 T사 법원으로 뛰어들어가도 변하는 건 없을 텐데.
There was no injustice. It was done in a perfectly legal manner. Bring the case to T-Corp courts if you wish. It will change absolutely nothing. An Ophia Association fixer carrying a piece of paper stepped in between Hindley and Linton as the two men continued to growl at each other.
진정 시간이 끝남에 따라 재산 상속 유언장 집행을 계속하겠습니다.
The allotted recess has expired. We will now proceed to the inheritance bequeathment will reading.
이것은 고인 캐서린 씨의 유언장입니다. 위조가 없다는 것은 여러 번의 절차를 통해 검증이 되었습니다.
This is the will of the deceased. It has been verified via multiple tests and screenings that no counterfeiting or tampering of a similar nature has occurred.
저 사람들이 위조를 검증한다면 저 사람들은 누가 검증하는 거야?
If they're verifying if it's a counterfeit or not, who verifies if they're just not straight up lying about it?
동의.
Good question.
업계 관행이라는 것일까요?
Maybe it's just standard industry practice?
그리고 캐서린 씨께서는 재산 분배에 대해 선포되기 전 이 편지를
Miss Catherine has requested this letter be read in audience of the three attendees.
모두의 앞에서 낭독하라 하셨습니다.
Before the bequeathment of personal property commences,
지금부터 그 유언장의 낭독을 시작하겠습니다.
I will now read the full contents of her will.
드디어
At last,
모두가 한자리에 모였구나.
you are all gathered here.
부디 이번만큼은 다툼 없이 나의 말을 존중해주길.
My only wish is that my words will be met with respect, without hostility among you.
화를 내는 사람은 없었으면 좋겠어. 이건 한 번뿐인 내 장례식이잖아.
I hope that none of you become incensed during this occasion. It's my one and only funeral, after all.
그리고 지금의 나는 전혀 고통스럽거나 괴롭지도 않아.
I am at peace. There's no pain, no suffering where I am.
그러니 내 죽음을 안타깝게 생각하는 일도 없었으면 해.
So do not consider my death a tragic one.
나는 나만의 천국에 이르렀을 거니까.
Because by the time you were hearing this, I must have reached my own heaven.
하지만 그렇다고 해서 슬퍼하지 말라는 건 아니야.
That isn't to say that you mustn't let sorrow into your hearts.
눈물은 마음껏 흘려.
Weep, if you will,
그래야 날 진심으로 사랑한다는 마음이 느껴질 테니까.
so that I may feel your grief and know that you have all truly loved me.
워더링 하이츠, 낡고 황량한 저택.
Wuthering Heights, an old and desolate manor.
난 이곳을 많이 무서워했지. 매일같이 악몽을 꾸고 겁에 질려 했지만
I have always been afraid of this place. Fear and nightmares would consume me every night.
이제야 죽음에 이르러서야 이 저택을 있는 그대로 받아들이기로 했어.
But now that I stand before the end of my life, I've come to accept this manor for what it is.
이제 이 저택을
This manor, which I will leave
나의 남편 린튼 에드가에게 남길게.
to my husband, Linton Edgar.
나를 계속 기억하며 이 저택을 소유해줘.
Keep this manor and remember me by its presence.
빌어먹을.
What the fuck? Damn it.
그리고 하나뿐인 내 오빠 힌들리.
And my brother Hindley, my one and only brother.
그래. 나도 언급할 거라고 생각했다고.
Right. I knew I'd be in there somewhere. Hindley's legs began to shake nervously, so did his voice.
빚이 매우 많은 상황이라고 들었어.
I heard that you were quite mired in heavy debt,
매일같이 술과 도박을 일삼고 있다는 것도.
and that you have been spending most of your days drinking and gambling.
그래서 나는
So I...
제발 뭐라도 내놔라 캐서린.
Come on, Catherine. Give me something, anything.
M사에 있는 어비스 트라우마 교정실에 오빠를 등록해 놓았어.
Signed you up for the Abyss Trauma Correctional Facility at MCorp.
이 말을 듣고 일주일 내에 방문을 해서 서류를 접수하지 않으면
If you don't visit the facility within 1 week after attending this will reading,
그쪽에서 오빠를 찾으러 직접 방문할 거야.
they will come to take you in.
뭐?
What? What?
오빠의 마음이 건강해질 수 있기를 진심으로 빌게.
I truly hope that your heart will be healed, dear brother.
말도 안 돼. 희망을. 애초에 지금 상황에서 일주일 안에 M사를 어떻게 가라는?
No, that's absolute nonsense. How the hell am I even supposed to get to MCorp in a week?
물론 오빠를 위해 M사로 가는 워프 열차 이용권도 준비해 두었으니 걱정은 마.
Of course, I have already prepared a warp train ticket to MCorp for you, so please don't worry about the travel fees.
내 손에 집어쳐.
No, this is a load of shite.
만일 또다시 소란이 일어나서 집행을 멈추게 된다면
Should another instance of disturbance to the execution of this will occur,
이번에는 경고 없이 무력을 행사하겠습니다.
we will take forceful action without warning.
이것들이 감히.
How dare you, you plebs.
그리고 히스클리프
And you, Heathcliff.
집으로 온 걸 환영해.
Welcome home.
캐시, 나는
Kathy, I'm...
이 저택에 7번의 벼락이 치고 난 후
once the seventh strike of lightning falls upon this manor,
그 후엔 황금가지가 네 것이 될 거야.
my golden bough shall be yours. Huh? Their mere mention of the golden bough suddenly intensified the sensation I felt earlier. I definitely sensed the golden bough was located somewhere within this manor. But I already figured the golden bough was somewhere in here. I've known that ever since we stepped foot in this manor. Yet, I couldn't quite pinpoint its location because...
내가 소유한 그 황금가지를 너에게 줄게, 히스클리프.
I will leave my golden bough to you, Heathcliff.
황금 가지를 저택이나 가문도 아닌 개인이 소유하고 있었다고요?
The golden bough was her personal property? Not even her estates or her family's, just her?
벼락 7번? 무슨 말을 하는 것일까요?
Seventh strike of lightning. What do you think that means? It's not a golden bough.
뭐라는 거야? 대체 무슨?
What the bloody hell is that supposed to mean? What? There's more than one here.
단테, 괜찮으신 건가요?
Dante, are you alright? There is a second golden bough in this manor.
아니야. 그딴 말 말고.
No, this isn't at all what I...
돌아와, 캐시. 제발.
Come back, Kathy, please.
내 말에 한 번만 들어줘, 캐시!
Hear my voice just this once, Kathy.
정말이야, 네일이. 정말 유령을 봤다니까?
I'm serious. Oh, Nelly, this room is haunted. I saw a ghost.
또 그런다. 유령이 나오면 제가 두들겨 패서 빨래대에 널어놓을 거라고 했잖아요, 캐시 아가씨.
Again with this, Miss Kathy? What did I say? I told you I would thrash that evil ghost and hang them to dry on the rack.
유령 같은 건 없어. 맨날 거짓말만 한다니까 쟤는.
Ghosts aren't real. She's such a big liar. That's just his voice, actually.
거짓말 아니라고!
I'm not lying.
미안하다 얘들아. 많이 기다렸지?
I'm sorry, children. Have you been waiting long?
아빠, 내 바이올린은요?
Dad, where's my violin?
내 엑스사 맞는 렌치도.
And what about my X-Corp all-purpose wrench?
바이올린도 렌치도 못 사왔어. 남은 손이 없었거든.
Again, I'm sorry. I did not have the room for the violin or the wrench.
남은 손? 아우, 뭐야?
What room? Or what's that?
안고 있는 그 더러운 자루 같은 건 뭐야? 더러워.
What's that dirty rag? Ew.
이 날씨에서
Oh.
길거리에서 기도하고
Oh, it's
있었단다.
Heathcliff. Ooh, whoops.
부모도 집도 없던 모양이야.
I found this child dying alone in the streets. He was without parents or a home. A boy would surely have died in a weather like this.
그래서? 나는 우리 집에 이런 거지 같은 애랑 같이 있기 싫어.
So what? I don't want that gross, dirty little kid living here.
맞아. 바이올린 사오란 말이야. 이런 거 내다 버리고.
Yeah, I want my violin. Throw that thing out.
뭘 봐?
What are you gawking at? He just sounds exactly like his adult form.
바이올린 내놔. 바이올린 가지고 싶단 말이야.
Violin, I want me violin.
근데 아빠, 이 애는 왜 길거리에 있었어요?
Papa, why was he all alone in the streets?
이 아이에게는 아무도 없기 때문이거든. 불쌍하게도.
Because there wasn't anyone to take care of him, poor child.
뒷골목에는 그런 아이들이 간혹 보이지. 부모도 없고 친척도 없고 집도 없는 아이들 말이야.
There are other children like him in the back streets. No parents or relatives to look after them. No homes to shelter them.
그럼 얘한테는 이제 뭐가 있는 거예요?
Then, what does he have now?
이제부턴 우리와 그리고 이 집이 있는 거지, 캐시.
Well, Kathy, now he's got us to look after him, and this place as his home.
싫어. 난 저런 거 안 가져.
No, I don't want that ugly thing.
그럼 오빠는 버리는 거구나? 그렇지?
So you're saying you don't want to have him, right?
바람이 불고 있나 봐. 저택에 또 울음소리가 들려.
The wind's howling. I can hear someone wailing. Its cry is echoing through the through the manor's hall.
그렇네요.
Okay, that's not what that.
창문은
Whatever.
닫으세요,
Fuck it.
아가씨.
Who cares
됐어요.
anymore? Who cares? I hear it too, miss. Close the windows. There's a nip in the air outside.
기억나세요? 아가씨가 어렸을 때 이 바람 소리만 들으면 계속 무섭다고 칭얼거리셨는데.
Do you remember still? As a child, you were terribly afraid of these howling winds.
유령이 보인다 그러지 않나?
That you're seeing ghosts?
넬리, 지금도 난 보이는걸?
Nellie, I see them still.
아가씨, 히스클리프가 저택을 떠난 후로 아가씨는 너무 허약해지셨어요. 그러니까 어른이 되어서도 헛것이나 보는 거라고요.
Miss, you've grown far too weak ever since Heathcliff departed the manor. That is why you're seeing things.
괜찮아, 넬리.
That's all right, Nellie.
이젠 유령이 무섭지 않아.
I no longer fear the ghosts.
모든 두려움은 무지에서부터 나오는 것이니까.
Because all fear stems from the ignorance of its origin.
히스클리프는 어디에 있는 걸까?
Where do you suppose he is, Heathcliff?
아가씨,
Miss,
이제 그에게 남은 것이라군. 내가 전부일 텐데.
he doesn't have anything left. I'm everything he has. Well, not anymore. Womp, womp, womp. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. I upload daily at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. As always, hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next episode. So long, everybody.